And we're live on YouTube. I've got the fabulous Pamela Steele with me. Hi, Pam.
Hey Dax, how's it going today?
Great. Certified Tarot Grandmaster.
Yay!
I
Well,
just
thanks to
had
the Tarot Guild, anyway.
I just had to point that out. Anyway, but we're back again here. Got a great show for you today. Hey, vision boards are BS. Do this instead, which I don't know what this is, but Pamela's going to let us know.
Okay, I got to get over it. Let me get on YouTube because
Get
there's
on,
some
get in the chat, Pam. I'm gonna say hi to some
trying
people in
to.
the chat first here. I see Angela,
Okay,
one of
Psychic
our
Love.
regular, Michelle from Michelle's Mystic Corner
Hey,
is
Michelle.
well. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Maria. Maria Moss from the Angelic View, which is going to be coming back next Sunday. Yeah. So a week from today, tune in. Uh, Dan Matheny, Michelle's husband, just popped in there. He's one of our lifetime members of the Tarot Guild. Howdy, Pamela. Howdy, Dax. Everybody's everybody's coming in.
We, there we are. Yay, teamwork.
Yay!
There. Okay.
You're in the
I have
chat.
to, I am, and I have to put it on mute because otherwise it takes over.
Yes, I
And
know.
yeah,
I have
so
had that happen. When when I'm not on a show. So, guys in the chat, when you see the big bright yellow The Psychic Cafe and you see chat, that's me. But when I'm not on the show and it's somebody else's show, like Maria and Ginger on the Angelic View or Michelle on Michelle's Mystic Corner, and I'm just in the chat, I open another browser and go into my personal YouTube, and so it shows up with my name and everything like that. And I got to be careful because the thing will play. Although I'm muted, I'm not on the show, but I've had it start up in the past before. So hey, everybody, grab your coffee or tea. I got my coffee here. Pull up a chair. Let's hang out. And before we get into the topic today, oh, Charlotte's here too. Hey, Charlotte.
Starlight.
We were just
Woo!
we were just mentioning you because we were talking about James Wanless and the Voyager Tarot, and I I was pretty sure you were one of the people that got certified. It was either you or oh gosh, it was one of the ladies on um Angelic Realms before the Angelic Realms network, though. We're going way back when it was the Monday show, Angelic Realms. And maybe she was the certified Voyager tarot reader. It's been so many years. I know Charlotte does animal communication and oracle cards now. So before we get into anything, hey, I got the card of the day. I'm gonna pop that up there from, of course, the Steel Wizard deck, and I couldn't believe it. I shuffled really well, Pamela, but I
Uh,
got the Maiden of Cups, which is one of the ones that you added to the deck. There's like 88 cards now in the Steel Wizard. We love it. And I thought I read what you said in the book and I was like, oh, that's perfect for today's show. We're talking about manifesting and law of attraction and vision boards and stuff. So here's the guidelines from the book. This is what Pamela said about Maiden of Cups. I'm just going to read it right from the book here. And got the book. Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to read it right from the book here. Your creative potential is manifested and offers you the possibility of your greatest dreams coming to fruition. This card may represent a young woman interested in the arts or spirituality. The attributes of grace and charm smooth life's bumps if you embrace them. Here is the unwritten sonnet, book, or poem that only needs you to give voice to it. The gathering of inspiration, employing your imagination, and awakening your insight promise creativity. Woohoo! So there's the message for today, and it's perfect for what we're going to talk about.
Couldn't be better.
So why
So
did
that's
you pick this topic? Why did you want to talk about vision boards being BS? And I
it could
love how
be
you
it
put
could
that.
stand for bright star, who knows?
Yeah.
BS could also, that was my mother's initials. Could be anything, but what I've noticed over, I got into thinking about this because so many people have hit a point in their lives where they're, well, what card did I pull? Oh, this one, the Ten of Swords. And this is what motivated it. I, I'm done. Like, so many people at a point in their lives, in their careers, where all of a sudden they're thinking, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be more to it than this. And then that got me thinking about back, like I've been doing massage for, well, decades, but when I started doing it in town here, the lady I rented a room from to work out of, this was back 20 years ago, and she got into this vision board. This was it. So she took, it was probably a 4x6 cork board that I don't know where she found that thing at, but she managed it. She put it up in her office, and she had that thing covered in, like, she printed up $1 million bills, like the old, well, let's see, I probably have one around here somewhere because she gave me one. And like high-end cars and a villa in Italy. And I mean, all of these things fill this board to the brim, like to the frame. It was just there. And the man that she was seeing at the time, she wanted him to ask her to marry him, that's fine too. But she had a picture of a woman wearing an engagement ring that was the diamond was the size of my thumbnail. What are you gonna do with something that big? I'm sorry, you can't cook on it. But what do I know? I mean, there are people. I wasn't judging per se. I just couldn't understand why she spent weeks and weeks putting this together. She cut pictures out of magazines and wherever else. I downloaded them online. And I got to thinking about it, and I thought, what do you really what do you really want out of life? And then I realized, stop wanting anything. Let's start by figuring out what you already have and go from there. um and the list was considerable. It was considerable. What she had and what she thought she was looking for were pretty well parallel with each other, but it it came to the fact that she was so disgusted after about, oh, I'm going to say she gave it a good 8 or 9 months. Well, none of this is working. So she took it all down. And I talked to other people at the same time that said, yeah, they just don't work. You can put them all together and you can stare them every day for half an hour and they just don't work. Well, that's because you're not doing the right kind of work.
Pamela, your sound's going out.
Oh,
It, yeah,
again?
it
Hold
was,
on.
it's fine when you're, I don't know, if you turn your head or something, it sounds
Okay,
like
try
you're
this. Is this
talking.
better?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, because I switched speakers or switched microphones.
Yeah.
Um, I couldn't remember which one I was supposed to use.
It's
But
okay.
anyway, what it all came down to is people at that point, like there again, 20 years ago, vision boards were all the thing, and they would have little creative workshops where they'd all get together and I'm looking at them thinking it looks more like an attempt at collage art than a vision board.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you really understand what you're doing here? And the more I thought about it, the more it didn't make a lot of sense. So I began to explore alternatives and what could we do to make to manifest. I mean, when you look at the magician card, he's manifesting from pure thought. E equals mc squared. Pretty simple. Energy is mass. Energy is mass and consciousness squared. That's that simple. So then that led me into quantum physics, which was really interesting for a while, but it worked. I mean, the whole idea worked. And that's when I learned two things. One, you have to really work at creating. It's not, you're not on a spiritual welfare program.
Yeah.
You are here to work and to manifest and to build and create. This is what we do as humans, hopefully. So anyway, that was kind of what got me started. And over time, it sort of evolved. It's something that comes up in a lot of readings that I do. But the first and foremost, the first thing that I'm going to tell everybody is stop wanting anything, because the universe is a genie in the bottle and has got a bent and twisted sense of humor. So when you say I want, you're granted the exquisite experience of wanting and fill in the blank. That's it.
It
But when you
mirrors
choose,
back, gives you right back what you want.
yeah,
Well, it sounds like she wants that, so we'll give her more wanting.
exactly, exactly. That's exactly right. So what has come up over time is, I mean, is anybody's situation perfect? No, there's always room for improvement, but it does allow you solid steps on your journey. It does allow you and bring you what you need most, maybe not what you want, but what you need most in order to continue. And simply put, you may already have it. I had one woman explain to me how, oh my gosh, her life was such a disaster. This again, 20 years ago. I said, tell me, explain to me, what are you talking about? Because she came for a reading. And, well, her and her husband had split up, and, she just wanted this and she wanted that and she wanted this and she needed, companion. And I said, well, tell me what you missed the most. And she said, the human touch. And I burst out laughing. And she said, what is so funny about that? I said, what do you do for a living? She said, I'm a massage therapist. Isn't that the human touch? I mean, you're not, using anything else. And she went, well, yeah, but. And I said, no, 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 buts. You start with what you have and build from there.
Hmm.
And do not use your clientele list as a dating pool ever. But anyway, and you know what? It didn't take her very long before everything turned around. And she really did start to put her life back together in a very
Hmm.
positive and creative way. And it's there now. You can't
Oh,
complain because it was already there waiting to be experienced, let's say.
right. Real quick, hold that thought. I was looking in the chat. Maria says it was Jean. So Jean Morey, she was the one that was the Voyager certified tarot reader. Thanks for reminding me, Maria. I couldn't remember Jean's name. Oh my God. That's terrible. We're friends on Facebook. I saw a post the other day. So she's still out there running around doing stuff. Yep. So somewhere in our chats about this, which we didn't chat much about it. I thought, I'm just gonna let Pamela run,
Uh-uh.
see what. But you did mention
Scary.
something about starting with the Nine of Cups
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
from the tarot.
Yes. But here's the kick.
Okay.
Every step along the way, wherever you hit a spot that you're not really sure, just ask for advice. Pick your deck up, ask for advice, fan the cards up, pull one, or however you do you, and it'll give you the advice you need. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
believe in this. You have to trust it implicitly, and don't draw two or three cards saying, "Well, that's not the answer I wanted." Just use it, because the main thing about vision boards is they are vision boards. And I know that sounds a little hypocritical, but it's true. What you're seeing, what you're looking at, is a representation of what your desires represent. Okay, this is as simple as it gets. But when you've got this huge, let's call it a collage on a vision board, and you're studying it intently, and you've got money, you've got house, you've got vehicle, you've got everything there. Where do you focus? Where is your focus, and how does it work? All right. So
Exactly.
it's easier, I found in time. It's easier to focus on bits at a time. And what works for most of the people that I've been working with is, you can have a vision board if you want one, because a lot of people are visual and they need to see that. But make a list. And I've gone over this a dozen times. Maybe even on this podcast, who knows, about take a blank piece of paper, right across the top of it, what I choose to experience, not what I want, because we'll be back to square one. What do you choose to experience? And think about, really give it some thought. Take your time making this list, because at the end of the day, or the week, or however long it takes you, what's going to happen is you're going to have a list. And if everything on that list were accomplished, you would wake up tomorrow morning and feel like, oh my gosh, everything's great. Everything's wonderful. This is where I belong. This is the next step in my journey. So how do you get there? Well, make a list. And I
Mhm.
don't, it's your list. I mean, it could have a new car in the driveway, it could have a home on the lake, it could have an unlimited banking. I don't, it's your list. You do whatever you know and is going to work for you. But here's the trick. The first thing you do is once your list is complete, 110% complete, all right? What you're going to have to do is begin to create a place for this to exist. You're going to have to begin to manifest it. No, you're not putting the cart before the horse. You are creating, it's like that. What was it? The Field of Dreams? Was that movie that Build It and He Will Come?
Yep.
Is that the right one? Okay. Well, I haven't watched movies in a while. Um, but that's the idea. That is the precipice, the basis of it. Because okay, let's put it this way, your list is complete. You've spent
Mhm.
days, weeks, whatever, making this list, and you're reading it through, and once everything on that list is complete, you're gonna be sailing. It's
Right.
good.
Right.
All right. So, first of all, when you go to bed at night, you take 15 minutes before you go to sleep. Deep breaths in and out. Take your time, but I made a list so I don't forget anything. What about your other senses? What about your other senses that you are employing? Right now, what you're feeling is want. So when you wake up the next morning and your list is complete, everything's done, what's the first smell? What is the first scent that pulls you to into this? Because if you do a little research, you'll find that the sense of smell, is the strongest memory advocate there is. I mean, we can forget something for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And a single scent will bring back a memory that we had long packed away. What does it smell like when you wake up and your list is complete? Next thing, what are you going to be touching? What does it feel like? When you reach out, are you touching? Um, did you sleep in the woods? Are you touching a tree? Tell me, what do you feel? What are you touching when you open your eyes? Okay. Not just what you see, because what you see is coming in a minute. All right. Next, and this is always fun. What do you taste? I mean, nobody really wants a kiss first thing in the morning, but hey, come on, work with me here. It's a sense of taste. What are you anticipating? Chocolate, coffee, a shot of brandy, whatever it is, doesn't matter. What are you going to taste first? What do you hear? Do you hear bird song? Do you hear traffic? Do you hear rocket boosters? Like, what do you hear? Once your list is complete and you wake up, what do you hear? And the last thing on this list is, how does it make you feel authentically? You should feel like you're in a state of grace. You should feel like, yes, you should feel excited. You should be anxious to get up and get moving, because all it takes is that. It takes 15 minutes a night for 3 nights in a row for things to begin to happen. And that's when you have to really start looking at what you already have to work with. Like my friend, the massage therapist, I miss the human touch. Or what is it that you need? I mean, focus. It's all about focus and intent, just like magic works. What are you
Yep.
focused on? What are your intention? And each item in your on your vision board needs that kind of smell, taste, touch, hear, focus, or
Well, I
everything.
gotta I gotta think that like a magic practitioner, whether it's high magic or Wicca or whatever, they're not doing a spell or doing a ceremony or a ritual and focusing on all these different things that they want to manifest. They're focusing on one thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is way back when you were describing the vision board, I gotta think that consciously, or if not consciously, at least subconsciously, you're doing your 10 minutes of meditation and 10 minutes of, staring at this board that I mean, with there being so many things that
Yes.
the the focus on the fact that you don't have those things has got to come up in your mind, even if it's subconscious.
Yes. You got it. Nailed it. Woo,
So now you're telling the
that gets
universe,
clicking.
it's like, I want more of this lack of not having all of these things.
Bingo. But that 15 minutes before you go to sleep every night, and there again, it only takes three. Um, you have to start, you do have to start focusing on
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
well,
I
okay.
always tell people on the show, what does it smell like, taste like, sound like,
Yeah.
feel like, all five senses,
Mhm.
and to get a
How are you going to feel
visualization
in the
of
morning
that.
when? Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you going to feel in the
But you
morning?
can't visualize having the Maserati, the boat, the beach house, the money, whatever, all at the same time.
No,
You can't do that.
no,
Another thing that I wanted to throw in that people miss all the time, even if you do the vision board, okay, is they don't go through all the steps.
no, they don't.
And the last step that I talk about when I do the cross of manifestation with the magician card, and I do the four aces, and I talk about the visualization of it, which includes all the senses, crystal idea swords, and then the cups and the wands, the emotion and the passion, the why and what is it going to feel like. But they missed the last one, which is the pentacles at the bottom, is taking action. And a lot of people, say, well, I watched the movie The Secret, read the book, and they say that it's so easy, and that you just do the intention and let go and let God. But if you really pay attention to what they say in the movie, say in a lot of the books, a lot of the other stuff that's out there, um, they don't say it's that easy. They actually do say you need to take action. There's this story where he's talking about manifesting the yacht, and he says, I went down to the marina. I went through all the shops where they sell all the paraphernalia for the boats, and everything from dinghies to ropes to all the little uh, details and things,
Mhm.
anything you need to supply your boat, right? And he went to several of them and walked through and looked around, and he went there with the intention and the thought that I have my boat, I need to stock my boat, let's look at all the available things, and then go to the salespeople and take tours of boats, and then find a friend that has one and takes you out for the day on the boat.
Rent one.
You know, you got to immerse yourself in the whole thing. Even when they're talking about manifesting a job,
Yeah.
they
Big time.
didn't just say visualize the job.
Nope.
Yeah, they said that, but they also said, and this is what you do to take action.
Yes.
See if you can get into the actual physical building that you are going to be working in, and go
Hmm.
look at the cubicles. Imagine
Hmm.
yourself there. What about the other employees? Look around the location. Is there a popular pub across the street where after work the people that work there now hang out? Go find out, go meet some of them, talk to them. What's it like working there? What's this like? What's that like? You're taking action, and you're immersing yourself in whatever it is you're trying to manifest. Same
Yeah.
thing with houses, going and touring the houses, and when you find that perfect one, see how much time they'll let you spend there, and don't worry about all these other houses. Same thing with the job. Don't worry about all these other jobs. Focus in on just the one job, the one house, the
Oh, I know
one
it
boat.
works.
Yeah.
I know it works. About 20, no, 30 years ago now, um, I walked into my mother's kitchen and I was kind of frowning and she said, what? And I says, I've had enough. And she said, enough what? And I says, I'm going to move. And she said,
Mhm.
where to? Because she doesn't trust me, or she didn't trust me. And I said, well, I'm going to find a place within 10 minutes of town, 4 or 5 acres, a little house on it, water. And I started describing where I was moving to next. And she says, and so you're here because I said, I need to see your newspaper. I need to find out what's in there right now. And she said, okay. So she hands me the paper. And my stepdad, the first words out of his mouth were, you're never going to find that. And I looked at him and I said, have you met me? That was it. Do you know that evening on a handshake, I had a place, 4.5 acres, 7 minutes from town, massive trees all the way around, little creek that ran through the back on the western border. Perfect. The perfect place. And it dropped into my lap for half of what I thought I could pay for it. Dropped
Hmm.
into my lap. And the guy that sold it to me on a handshake, seriously, his wife said to him, you know, a few other people have made that offer, that you just agreed to from her, which was basically give it to me for a year on lease purchase. And he said, yeah. And she says, and you turned 3 men down. Why did you accept her offer? And he said, because she'll never bounce a check on me and she'll do what she says she's going to do. I know her. She will never. And sure, a year later, boom, it was done.
Hmm.
This is mine. It paid it off. Yeah, paid it off fast.
Oh, and
So,
I have another story about John Ashroff that was in the movie The Secret
oh,
that
yeah.
talks about vision boards. Before that, though, I'm looking in the chat. Let's see, they're all wondering about if we're going to do any mini readings. I don't know if we'll get to mini readings today. If we do, we might do one or two. Dan says, Pamela, will you be doing a workshop on this topic? It's like, well, I think we're pretty much workshopping it right now. I will do another presentation, in fact,
Yeah.
on an upcoming Psychic Cafe live, uh, either on a Wednesday or the second Sunday. We also have a fifth Saturday. We're going to do one in March coming up here. I'll do one on the cross of manifestation. It's always good to do that a couple of times a year. What I
Yeah.
love about that is that I start the conversation off with, of course, the magician and the four aces. And I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
do you notice how the very first card of each suit, I can't talk today, the major arcana, card one, magician, and the four aces from the four suits of the minor arcana. Card number one is all about what? It's about manifesting. It's not about predicting the future. See, the to me, tarot is more about helping people achieve their goals, manifest their future, than predicting the future. And yeah, I started doing the cross of manifestation 20 years ago, and it reveals the steps and what you need to have in place. If any of those are missing, it doesn't work. So people go, well, the law of attraction doesn't work. It's like, well, have you done all four steps? And that's why I kept talking about, the one that most people don't do. They do the mental ones, they do the mind, the swords, you know, what it is. They might even do the emotion, the cups, and they might do the wands, the passion, but they never take action. They don't do the material one, the pentacles one step, pentacle step.
Well, and that's the whole
Yep.
thing. You have to build it. You have to create it. It has to be so real that you can live it. And it's that living it, that actual putting yourself
Mm-hmm.
there and living it. And because I mean, I knew what it was gonna, I even knew there were gonna be magpies waking me up in the morning. I just knew it. And it was
Yeah.
wonderful. And it worked out so well and it was seamless. Only because one thing, one, I know it works. You cannot convince me it doesn't work. And two, it felt right. And that's
Mhm.
the authentic feeling I was talking about. If you can wake up in the morning and know that this is where you belong, this is where
Mhm.
all of this, and you go to sleep with that feeling, you're going to wake up with it too. And it only takes about 3 days. On the fourth day, you will see a noticeable improvement. The only thing it doesn't work on is if you're trying to attract a certain person or if you put too many conditions on it. Okay, it's like saying maybe I wanted to marry Mel Gibson about 40 years ago. I didn't do it. I mean, but what I'm saying is you cannot choose for another person.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a partner in life, somebody who supports you and is there for you, et cetera, then how's that going to feel? Well, what's it going to be? I mean, you wake up with an elbow in your ear, but oh well,
Right.
things like that. But you take the conditions off. I mean, you do have certain ones like
Mhm.
somebody asked me after my last divorce, what do you ever think you'll, get partner up with anybody again? And I said, I know better than to say never. So who knows? And then the next question was, well, what are you looking for in a future partner? And I said, well, whoever he is, he's got to have a job because I'm tired of carrying the load. And the guy just burst out laughing. He says, I've known you 40 years and you've never changed a bit. And I said, yeah, I have, because I used to take them on whether they had a job or not. Now I don't. I do not want people in my house that are counterproductive.
Yep.
That was
Exactly.
the stipulation.
By the way, piece of trivia I saw in the chat where Dan asked you, is that the house you're in now? And you
No.
responded, no, I sold that place 20 years ago to finance the Steel Wizard Tarot's first edition. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
piece of trivia. You just heard about her manifesting the house and it paid for the Steel Wizard. Here's the URL you can pop in your browser, in a new tab in your browser, to get over there and grab a copy. I also put the link in the chat. And if I pop over there, because it's become tradition, we always check to see what the sale is currently. Because I mean, there's been times we popped in there 30% off, 50% off. Let's go check it right now, at least where I am in the world. When I go to Amazon, 10% off right now. So instead of 34.99, basically 35 bucks, it's 31.50, 31.49, basically. Yep. So you can go grab that's the full set, third edition, with the fabulous box with the magnetic top there,
Yeah.
and the wonderful book, Oh, I forgot to take that card out of there. The card, oh, that was a different card that I used to hold space, my bookmark kind of thing. So yeah, go to this URL and you can grab your copy of the Steel Wizard Tarot. Let's see, and I'll pop that off.
You know what would be fun, Dax?
Yeah.
Is if today okay, everybody who's with us today,
Mm-hmm.
or even people that watch later, why don't the next time I come out, because we're going to do in a couple, well, on the 23rd, what day did we figure out for that rune magic?
And it's
What
funny
day?
because I was just bringing up the calendar because I wasn't completely sure. There is the second and fourth Saturdays, no, Sundays. I'm sorry.
Mondays.
Yeah, I got confused because there is the fifth Saturday, which is the 29th, but we're doing it on Sunday the 23rd, and
That's what I thought.
that's going to be room magic. So that kind
Yeah.
of dovetails into this, right?
But yeah, it does. But yeah, because we're going to do bind rune magic. But what I wanted to say about that was anybody who's here today, find something you really choose something to manifest. All right. And when we do that particular little workshop, and yes, there will be handouts for that one. Um, we can kind of have a spare about a little bit in chat about what we have managed to accomplish. So I mean, you've got a few weeks, plenty of time. If you can do it in a day, you can do it in a week. There is no time limit on this, but you will see progress. I promise you will see progress if you're doing it like Dax said. You've got to do the work. You've got to have the focus. You've got to have the intent.
Oh, should they
And
get a set of runes between now and then if they don't have one?
it doesn't hurt, but this particular, I picked an exercise that really doesn't require runes. And all the information they're going to need is on the handout.
Oh yeah. Well, I completely forgot you can draw your own runes. You can draw a rune.
That's what,
You don't have
yeah.
to have rune stones necessarily. Oh,
No,
let me
mine
tell
are
that
actually wood.
before I forget. Let me tell that story about John Ashroff, because
Yes.
there's the famous scene And people always people oh, people watch this stuff, and they don't catch what's going on. So like there it is.
That's the
Rhonda
bell.
Burns, Rhonda Burns. So John Ashroff, he tells the story about bringing out, finding the vision board and showing, or like his son finds it or something like that, and they're looking at, and he realizes that not only did he manifest the house, but hold on a second, I forgot to mute my phone, I apologize. Too much going on today. I was doing laundry and six other things, 5 minutes before the show. So he's with his son, and it's not that he manifests a really nice multi-million-dollar house, but the aerial view, like that he had found in a magazine or something, cut it out, put it on the vision board, was the exact house that they were literally living in right then. And
Wow.
and he didn't even realize it because he had not looked at the vision board in forever. But like his son is like, "What's this?" And there's this big board. Um, but did you notice something? He manifested the house, but where was the vision board? Exactly. He wasn't using a vision board. Yes, he had made the vision board, but it was shoved behind a couch or something, or uh chest of drawers or something,
Some
or
people need
filing
that
cabinet or something.
visualization. I mean, Michelle and I were chatting about that, I think yesterday on her show, is that she, or maybe it was before, but anyway, we were talking about she likes vision boards because she's a very visual person,
Mm-hmm.
an artist. I'm a very visual person, but I'm a little bit different in that I make my own visions, I make my own art. So, but I might see something in like the drawing I did just the other day, now that my hands are healing up. Um, I mean, I had seen a similar picture somewhere, probably online, that really stuck in my head. That inspired me to sit down a couple of days ago and draw a picture of a bear, okay, or a bear's face, whatever. Uh, I had it was almost like a compulsion. I needed to get it from here into here, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but it doesn't matter. I just know that it feels right. Follow what feels right. What makes you excited to get up in the morning? What makes
Mm-hmm.
you smile when you think about it? What makes you get all giddy and excited because, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun? That kind of excitement, that kind of like a toddler at the zoo. Come on, let's get excited about life and let's create a life that you really can thrive in. You can do this. I did it. And no, the house that I'm in right now, um, I was going to, well, once I got the deck published, I was going to actually, I was thinking about moving down to the States and working out of there because I know shipping and everything in Canada where I live is kind of, but I've been, I had a couple months. I was waiting for the deal to close on the from the people that bought my place, and it was one of the kids that had grown up with her horse out there because she was a friend of my son's, a friend of my son's, and needed a place to keep her horse, and so yeah, sure. But what I ended up doing was I was going to go move to the States. I was just going to, I'm done. Let's go do something more exciting in someplace else. And that's when the man that I was dating at the time went out and bought this house and asked, he said, well, as long as you're still here, you want to help me move in, help me get set up? I said, sure. It was just me and him. Nobody else showed up. I don't know if he didn't invite them or they just didn't show up. Got him moved in. And no, a week later, to the day, a week later, I said something about, well, I'm going to head back to my place and, like wrap things up and do this and do that. And he handed me a key and I said, what's that? And he says, well, that's for the house. I said,
Mm-hmm.
my house doesn't have a key. My house never had a lock on the door ever. And I said, well, yeah, and he says, no, for this house. I said, why this house? He says, because I would like it if you would spend the winter with me. He says, you don't really want to move in the winter. It's too rough. It's too cold. It's too. And I thought, wait a minute, you've been looking for, I wonder. And I said, okay, thank you. And he says, I'm not asking you to stay forever. He says, I just spend the winter here. He says, and I'll help you move in the spring. Well, it must still be winter, dude, because I'm still here. And it's
Hmm.
been over 20 years. But that's how things work together. That's how they fall into place. If you don't shoot yourself in the foot, don't get in your own way. Nothing in this multiverse is more powerful than you are. You just have to
Right.
accept that, take the responsibility, because great power, great responsibility. Don't blow it.
In the chat, Michelle saying, and you can use the vision boards to manifest as steps. It can work, but not if you don't apply it. Yeah. And I said,
Yes.
in general, that's kind of what Pamela's talking about. And, my biggest frustration when I'm teaching this to people and they don't take the action that's necessary. So when John was manifesting that house, he didn't even know it was on his vision board from years and years and years back. Okay. So he was focused on that and he manifested that and he moved in there. And later on found out it was on his vision board. Did his vision board magically make it happen? No, he was focused on it. And he had to manifest a whole bunch of other things that led up to him being able to manifest that house. I also
Yep.
want to I also want to, tie tarot in because, I mentioned before about um tarot to me is more about manifesting your future than predicting your future. In fact,
Exactly.
there's an old saying that the best way to predict the future is to manifest it yourself. And what you can do with the tarot is rather than, randomizing that, well, you can randomize it too. You can do it face up or randomize it, but you can uh, pull cards and let the tarot help you figure out what the next steps are, what you should be doing to manifest X, you know. And so there's a lot of ways that you can bring the tarot in. If one of the four steps is missing, if you don't have the passion, the reason behind it, maybe you could pull cards. How can I better feel the passion for this thing that I want to manifest, or the emotional component, or the swords, the Ace of Swords step, which is the very first step. Actually getting crystal clear what you want to manifest, which is the biggest problem everybody has.
I pulled a card for you, Dax. You're the King of Cups today.
The King of Cups today. Yes. If you can't,
Yeah.
it's so
I was
perfect.
just listening.
Well,
It sounded,
remember, I got the Maiden of Cups. And
yes, you did.
if you can't feel it, you can't manifest it.
You can't do it.
It's not
It's
just what
not
you
going to
have
happen.
up in the brain. But to flip it around, you could even have the passion behind it. I really want a
Want,
million dollars,
want.
but you want it. You're not visualizing that you have it. And it's extremely difficult to manifest money because money is a representation of the exchange of energy between two entities. I usually say two people, but it could be more than that. It could be a business and a person. And so what I'm getting at with this is that, oh gosh, um most people don't have a clear crystal envisionment. And when I say I hate saying visualization because it's not just the eyes and what you see. It's what does it sound like and feel like and smell like and taste like. You have to have a whole five sensory visualization. But with the money aspect, what's going on there is that is representative of the exchange of energy. Okay. But it is not the actual thing. Why do
No,
we want $1 million? Because we want what the $1 million buys. I can buy the beach house. I can buy the Maserati. I can buy the boat. I can, you know, whatever it is, that's what a lot of these acquisitions are. because we're exchanging energy via, nowadays it's, zeros and ones on the computers, but money, and people, oh, I'm going to visualize a pile of money. Yeah, but if you don't know what that's going to buy, you can't put the emotion and the passion behind it. Well, you might get the feeling, oh, yeah, I really want to be rich, but it's more of a want then. You're not really, you can't, you can do one or two of the four steps, but you can't do all four.
You want to hear a real good one?
Mhm.
This is like 40 some years ago. And seriously, the kids and I lived from paycheck to paycheck. And it was not unusual for me to go to my night job at the biker bar, stone broke. Seriously, stone
Wow.
broke. Not don't have a penny to my name. Kids are with the sitter. I'm at work, and I could walk out of there with between $200 to $500 just to pay. And this is like 40 some odd years ago or more.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even 50 years ago.
It's
It
double
was
that now.
because what I did, and this is how I did it. I had a checkbook. Does anybody ever have an old, well, some of us mature people know what a checkbook is, and you kept a running balance in your little book? Well, what I did was I took a second book and I just wrote in my own natural energy yield, MONEY. That's what money is. Okay. So I took a second
I love that acronym.
register. I
Never
took a
heard that
second,
one before. My own
really?
natural energy yield.
Because that's what I wrote across the top of this book, Pamela's, checkbook, blah blah blah. And what I did was I went in and I added extra zeros
Hmm.
to the total in there. And I found that within a few days I quit stressing over it. I quit worrying about it. I just quit. It was just like, I got this. And from that day forward, I have never ever worried about money. It's there when I need it. It's not there when I don't. If I end up with an extra little bit here, I think, okay, is it going to be the water heater? But what I'm saying is that there's always enough. There's always enough. The universe you might have the wolves at the
Yep.
door. They're not going to get through because you are enough. Your life is enough. You have enough.
Hmm.
You just have to appreciate it. That attitude of gratitude is going to serve you so well in this endeavor. I promise.
Right. Oh, and a lot of people, what they bring up, now that you mentioned checks, I have to mention Jim Carrey's check to himself because it's so famous. He writes the $10 million check. He puts it on the ceiling over his bed. So every time he lays in the bed and looks up, he has to look at this check, and he manifests the $10 million. Now, a lot of people go, see, no, but you can manifest the money. That's a mistake. That's not what
Mm-hmm.
he did. He wrote the check for 10 million, but fully knowing where the 10 million was going to come from, that it was going to be his paycheck for being in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was visualizing and manifesting him acting in a movie, not cash. See, there's the disconnect. There's the difference.
Big
Okay.
difference.
You
Huge
got to
difference.
know exactly what it is you're trying to manifest. Now,
Well, and respect
the
the source of your
steps,
income.
not necessarily.
Yeah, but you have to respect that source,
Hmm.
the source of your income. You have to respect that. Um, it's not if you don't. Well, it's like a guy, a rancher. Okay, if he doesn't go out every day and look after his cattle and make sure that they've got enough feed, enough water, they're healthy. Is it spring? Are they birthing babies? What's going on? He's out there every day looking after his investment. He is investing himself in this. So when it comes
Ah,
time to sell these cattle, guess what? He can pretty well take most of the winter off. All he's got to do is feed a few out throughout the winter, but he's got what he needs because he's invested himself, his time, energy, money, and dream into what he's doing. And this is what people do when they start businesses. I mean,
hmm.
really, when I did the Steel Wizard, I did it for me because I needed more information and I was being stubborn. But when it came right down to it, I was a little surprised that other people liked it too. It's not that I didn't expect them to hate it, but I was just a little surprised. And now over 20 years later, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, it wasn't me. This deck was like giving birth to 88 children all at once. All right. And they have their own agenda, their own mindset, and everything else. That's what I love about the tarot because I can ask my best friend here, what do I need to do? What
Mhm.
advice do I need today? And if I'm having an issue with a manifestation, like if some project is not working according to plan, what do I need to do? And that was about 3 weeks ago. They told me flat out, you need to slow down what you're doing so that you can allow what's coming to manifest. And I went, okay. So
Mhm.
I started cutting my clientele. And of course, my husband is going, are you sure that's a smart idea? No, I don't know what kind of idea it is. I just know that I need to do this. Okay. And then I sat down and drew a picture in 4 hours that I haven't been able to do in over 15 years.
Wow.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
There's a lot of places there where you can pull in the tarot. Charlotte's mentioning something about it's hard to create the absolute of whatever you're wanting, manifesting, needing because fear of making a misstep. And so another thing you can ask the tarot is if you do have fear around it, it's like, okay, how do you get rid of the fear?
Uh-huh.
Pull some cards on it. When I do the cross of manifestation, I often pull a card for each of the four um aces for each of the four steps to kind of give information on what to do with each one of those steps, but then you can also pull a card next to each step as well. How to move forward, how to um realize that, actually do that step. And no, Charlotte's right. It's not easy. And I saw a rash of YouTube videos recently on YouTube where it's like, it's your guys are doing it wrong. It's not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be so easy to manifest. And I still haven't found the magic sauce, but if you know what it is that we're supposed to be doing, let me know and we'll come on the show and put it out there, right? But the way
Practice
I
makes perfect, Dax.
the way
Practice
I
makes
look at
perfect.
it,
That's what we're doing today.
yeah, but the way I look at it is that it's not only a lot of work, it's supposed to be a lot of work.
It's a
But
life's work.
let me explain in as far as the mindset, why it's so difficult, okay, and what makes it so hard. And it's because every day, all day, we are inundated with our own thoughts. Remember, your thoughts are not you. You are the observer of the thoughts. Not going to go in that whole explanation right now. If you want to know, ask me on another show. But you're observing the thoughts, and your thoughts tend to run negative. Okay, they're seeded by things we see in the news, on television, and just our own lacks that are around us. And yeah, we can put our focus on what we want to manifest in, but there's so much negative information coming in, and our negative thought processes as well. And so we are, and this is why the vast majority of the people on the planet are in the 99%. That's where I'm at. That's where all you probably are. You're not in the 1% bracket, you know. And most of us are in the 99% because it is so difficult to not focus on, part of the fear that Charlotte's mentioning. Fear comes often from the lack, not just not knowing what step to take, but just, even if you're not consciously aware of it, your subconscious mind is, right? And so what's going on is we are focusing on the lack, and the universe goes, oh, Dax wants more of that. And you get it, because we're never not manifesting. It's not about pulling out a wand and doing a ritual and,
No,
okay, I'm in the process of manifesting now, I'm using my wand. That's not real magic. That is not manifestation. Manifestation is a continuous, non-ending process. That's why they call it the law of attraction. It's like the law of gravity. Gravity never turns off. And it's the same thing. Even if you don't like the word law, you don't like the law of attraction, you prefer to say manifestation or something like that. This process is nonstop because where does it come from? Consciousness. Unless you're dead, your consciousness is not stopping. Actually, even if you are dead, it's not stopping because you're part of the collective consciousness. You're never going to be not conscious. But our individuality here on the planet, you know, using these bodies temporarily and wanting to manifest things within our lives and how, how time in the physical universe is linear. Okay. It's just, it's really, really difficult because we're just constantly focusing on that. And it takes effort to get out of that because we're so used to it. It's like a habit. And just like breaking any other habit, you want to break the habit and you want to be focused on what you're trying to manifest and all of the surrounding, because we don't have anything else. That's all we've got. We've got the five senses, not counting the sixth sense. I'm talking about the physical world, what we can experience. You got the five senses. That's all we got. Okay. So we need to engage those five senses and, try to keep up one thought for any length of time. It's really hard. So yeah, this is hard. It's not, oh, I'm going to write down what I want. There's that word again on a piece of paper and fold it up and put it on the dresser. And then, the fairy godmother is going to come and bring that to you, the Maserati. Boom. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and when she parks it in your bedroom, you can't get out the door. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
How, how are you going to deal with it? But yeah, it's a focus intent, and you can reprogram because there again, it's something Dax just mentioned that really needs to be focused on, brought up too, and that is pay attention to your inner dialogue because we're 24/7 constantly inundating ourselves with programming. We're like an endless computer. We're constantly programming into ourselves. And if you say the words I can't because, you've already shot yourself in the foot, you can't do it. You won't be able to do it. And those were three, that was a phrase that my children have never been allowed to utter. I can't because
Mm.
you will always have an excuse. But
Oh,
like Yoda, do or do not, there is no try.
I got something on that because is one of the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite negative version of the how.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another clue is you don't focus on the house. So you don't have to focus on the negative version of that, the other side of the coin, which is the I can't because. The secret is the secret. It's not the real secret of the movie. We're telling you the real secret. No, that's not what I mean. But I'll say one of the secrets is to not focus on the house. So you get in your car and you start it up. You're going to put it in gear. You grab your GPS. You type in, I'm going to 615 Preston Lane, Hatboro, Pennsylvania, and it goes where sees where you are, and it goes route, and shows you right there on the map what the route is. You don't need to know how to get there. That's what the GPS is for. you know deborah Deborah Frew from was one of our hosts, and one of her shows that she had on our network was GPS for the Soul. And I
Yes.
still love that name. I still love that name to this day. So it's like GPS. What happens if you don't put in the exact address or you put in a wrong address? It takes you to the wrong place, right? And so you've got to have the address down. That's the Ace of Swords. What happens if you put it in there and it maps it out, but you never put the vehicle in gear and push down on the accelerator pedal. You never get there. That's the action step. That's the pinnacle. See, it can all be related to the GPS in your car. You want your focus on where you're going and take steps to get there and move forward. You don't want to focus on the how am I going to get there, or the because this I can't get there. They're the two sides of the same coin. And that way, if you put all your, you're kind of forcing, because the natural thing is to look at the becauses in the house. You got to force yourself. And that's why, again, it's hard work to not focus on the house and the becauses, but the destination. The destination, baseball, you said field of dreams. What do you focus on? You keep your eye on the ball. You don't worry about how your body's moving, the bat, any of that. You keep your eye on the ball. That's the destination. Similar analogy there.
Well, Linda Larson,
And Dr. Rose is here. Coach Shakti. Hi, Dr. Rose. Just sorry, just had to say that.
No, but that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Really, is the how do I explain this? It's reprogramming your core thoughts, reprogramming your brain to be more open and willing to freaking listen. Trust yourself. Like when somebody says, I went through this with my 10-year-old grandson a couple of weeks ago down in California. He said, well, yeah, I had a really bad feeling about it. I thought it was a bad idea. Was I wrong? And his mom and I both at the same time said, no, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. We're teaching him, his mom, bless her heart, and his dad, and his stepmom, and his grandma, that'd be me, are teaching him trust that, work with that, build that spiritual muscle, because that is the one that's going to take you through to the goalpost. You will win. Just trust yourself and
can
reprogram.
Can you believe it? The whole topic took us through the whole hour. We're ready to end the show.
Wow.
But before I end the show, real quick, I want to mention that if you missed Crown Share, Michelle started this new feature on let me get this right. It's the third show of the month that she does, which falls on the fourth Saturday. So just remember, fourth Saturday of the month, bring your tarot deck. It was a lot of fun. We did a card of the day, and we used that card all show long, along with other cards we pulled. Yes, us in the audience, in the chat room, as well as Michelle, pulling cards, putting those two together, and doing readings for different things, different questions in chat, what have you. Go and watch it. Okay, it's in archive. It's on the channel. You can watch it right now. And I did want to mention that Michelle and Charlotte and I will be back on, what is the exact date next week? 26th? Yeah, 26th at 8 p.m. New York time. So that's 5 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to talk about what is a tarot spread. We've been talking about 3-card spreads, my 5-card yes, no, my tarot squared, my version of the Celtic cross, basically. And but we never talked about, because there's people out there that are like, what the heck is a tarot spread? We'll be talking about that and tarot lays and things like that. Remember Maria and Ginger's show, The Angelic View? It's the first and third Sundays. So that's the 2nd of March coming up next Sunday. Just wanted to remind everybody about that. Lastly, I'm going to mention, don't forget, the month of love sale is going on all month. So it's still going on now. It's going on for another 5 days to the 28th, something like that. Yep. Psychic.cafe/love. Let me see if I can put that in, where you can join the Tarot Guild membership for, let's see, do I have the prices? Yeah, half off. Instead of $78 a year, it's $39. That's $3.25 a month. Folks, it's less than half the cost of a latte at Starbucks. Certification is half price right now. Professional certification, $69. My numerology charts are 2 for $47. My readings are half price, Instead of $99.99, it's $49.99. My course, which is normally $299, it's a tarot and numerology course called Tarot by the Numbers. It's only $149.50 right now. There was something that came up. Oh, I know. It was Coach Shakti in the chat. That's Dr. Rose. And she was talking about the subconscious mind. For me, manifesting is about working with your subconscious, like Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy's work. Exactly. As a hypnotherapist, I have to completely concur with that. The best thing you can do with manifesting is learn about your own mind and how it works. Learn how to do self hypnosis. When I tell you guys about the ritual as you go to sleep at night, putting your head down on the pillow, having the paper and pen next to your bed. So when you wake up, you can write down your dreams. And when I tell you about programming your dreams, that's really what's really going on is hypnosis. What you're doing is you're going into a light alpha state before you go into the deeper states of sleep. When you put your head down on the pillow, it starts. And you can program your subconscious mind to do whatever you want,
Choose.
and
Stop wanting.
choose whatever you choose. And the thing is that hypnosis will allow you to focus the subconscious mind on what it is you want to manifest, and without the hows and the becauses. It's the best thing you can do for yourself, and it's free. You go onto YouTube and do some searches on hypnosis and learn some hypnosis. If you want a really inexpensive course, just let me know. I'll send you a link, where you can take one of Dr. Steve's courses dirt cheap on hypnosis. But it's amazing to me that the law of attraction folks out there and the manifestation folks, how they don't start with that and do hypnosis sessions. Sometimes they do. They call it guided visualization. It's really hypnosis. Anyway, but they don't do that. They don't teach you how the mind works. So you can get around these issues with you focusing too much on the lack, and then you're attracting more of the lack instead of what it is that you choose to create. So we'll leave it at that. But thanks for being here, Pamela. Great discussion. That was so much fun.
I loved it.
I want more discussions like this where we get to all hang out and even in the chat room, they were all chatting about this. We weren't going on and on about readings and all this kind of stuff. It's
Nope.
a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. Everybody gets a lot more out of it, right? Okay, so you'll be back on Sunday the 23rd, and we will be doing that rune magic, kind of like a mini workshop live here all show
Well,
long.
and if you're in the if you're at the Psychic Cafe, if you're not joined, because I've got a rune magic group there, and I finally
Yes.
had made time yesterday to get all the runes ready to go, and I wrapped up last time I posted, I wrapped up the first third, which is Freya's, and now we're going to be working on Hegel's. So the second set of runes, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
or the second set of 8, and that's going to get us halfway through. So it's once that's all done, you'll have a much deeper understanding of the runes and how they work. And I also want to show how later on, what I'm going to show is how to bring this into daily life. Okay. So just hang in there. And if you're not part of the Psychic Cafe, you should be, because we're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm wondering if rune magic. Oops. It's not the way you spelled it. I wonder if that'll take that's not working. Okay, I'll just do the full URL. Let me grab this. Pop it in the chat. So folks, here is the rune. Oh, maybe it is rune magic
Oh,
then.
yeah, it's rune magic.
Yeah, it's because the spelling it looked like a K on here, and
Oh, I know. That's the lettering, the font that I used. It's a little tough to read. but it really is Numerology. It's
Okay,
okay.
let me pop that in too. So psychic.cafe/rune magic will take you there. Let me see. Ooh, by the way, here's our pages. You can visit us
Yes.
in Psychic Cafe, psychic.cafe/Dax, psychic.cafe/Pamela. And then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But this link I want to do for you here to her group magic.
I think you got it, didn't you?
Yeah, but I'm putting it up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So for everybody that can't see the chat for one reason or another, because
Got it.
that does happen. They watch the videos in other places. So just type in your browser psychic.cafe/rune magic and join Pamela's rune group and get ready for the 23rd when we're going to do rune magic. All righty. Bye, everybody. Bye,
Okay,
Pamela.
guys. Talk
Thanks,
soon.
everybody that joined us in the chat. Bye, everyone. Yay, we're out of there.